how does Claude Code actually works? And what is a harness? So these were the questions I had, and that's why I decided to dive deeper into this topic and try to understand how that actually works. Because, by default, what you could do is you can send a message to Claude or to ChatGPT, and you get a response, and that's it basically. So how is actually an agent like Claude Code working under the hood? So this is what we cover in this video, and this is my understanding. So I don't claim this is 100% correct, but hopefully it is helpful to you as well. So let's get started. What is actually Claude Code, or the harness loop, so to speak? And one important concept is actually already written here. The Claude Code harness is a while loop wrapped around an atrophic post v1 messages API. So basically it's just a simple while loop, which probably every programmer knows, and it is sent to the message API, right? A post request. And then the model never executes tools itself. That's interesting because what it basically does, it emits tool call requests. The harness executes them, feeds the result back, and decides whether to call the model again or hand control back to the user. And everything below, we explore this just in a minute, my diagram, is what actually happens in one iteration, which branch exists, and the system that sits underneath. So let's go into that. So the diagram. As you can see here, it starts actually with the user input here, right? So we first start with user input. So basically we open Claude Code in a terminal or wherever you want to run it in the Claude desktop app, and then basically you type in what you want. I want to build a website and so on, right? So then first off, of course, it is checked by the harness, and the harness basically is this whole wrapper around. That is the harness. The harness first checks whether this user input is actually allowed. So something like, I want to build a bomb or something like that, that's probably already blocked by the harness, right? Immediately. So, or if the user input is not, I don't know, it's not complete or something like that. So if there are any issues here, it's blocked by default. So then, if the user input is approved, then there is this user prompt submit hook. So in Claude, basically in Claude Code, we have these hooks which are part of the harness, which are basically deterministic things which are executed as soon as a certain state in the harness is achieved, so to speak. So we have the user prompt submit hook, which is executed. So then, if this is passed, basically the user input, then we have the context assembly, which starts here. What is that? Well, of course, if you send something to Claude, then you have various items here, right? So for instance, you have Claude memory, you have the system prompt from Atrophic, you have your own Claude.md file, you have maybe already a history of user messages, so otherwise Claude would not know what you have asked in the prior prompt, right? So that's also part of that, and other kinds of things. Of course, also the tools, maybe the skills, the MCP servers, and so on. However, there to ensure the context is not too large, and also to ensure prompt caching, as far as I understood, is that, for instance, here in the context, only let's say the bare minimum of tools are really added with tool definitions. The other skills and so on and tools are just added by name, so to save some of the context here. Then this is the context assembly. Next, and this is basically what happens actually, is that this context is now sent to the message API with a post request. So that is what's happening here. So all of this is sent to Claude, and basically then we get a response. And this response is then parsed in a structured format. Otherwise, the harness is not able to execute based on the response. So the harness is just a wrapper around Claude itself, so around the message API. But the harness, of course, is not intelligent. So it needs basically a parsed response from the message API in order to then execute based on the response. And this is also what's mentioned here up there. That was it, right? The model itself is never executing something. That was interesting to me because I thought, like, okay, Claude is doing something. But Claude actually is not doing something. Claude is just get the context here with the message API and then sends a response back what it should or want the harness to do. So basically Claude itself doesn't say or doesn't do anything. It's just say, we should now execute this tool and these are the input parameters, just as an example, right? This is what actually Claude is doing in this whole Claude Code concept. It is not executing anything. It's just saying, I would do this, basically. And it is parsing the response for a harness. And then, of course, it depends what is the response. Is it just a text? Then it gets streamed to the user, right, in the interface. And the whole loop is basically stops. Is it actually a tool use response here in this case? For instance, the Claude would like now to execute a bash command to do something, right? So if that is, or has several tools, for instance, as first do this, then do this, and so on. Now, then there is this tool use blocks here against a permission gate. Meaning, what happens? Well, you know that you can run Claude in different kinds of permission modes, so dangerous skip permissions, of course, or allow edits, or also ask every time on anything like that, right? And then it goes to this permission gate in the harness and just says, okay, now is this actually allowed to execute tools or this specific tool? If not, it is already going into deny here. If we have this user approved modes, then it goes in there, and either you are then prompted, and you probably know that, you have seen that before, that now Claude Code asks for your input, right? And asks you, am I allowed to do this or not, basically? And be careful, not Claude is asking you this, but the harness is asking you this. So basically, is this allowed or not? If not, then it also goes into this error result. If it is approved, then it goes to pre-tool use hook. Also, of course, if you allow it by default, this tool use, then of course it goes also in the pre-tool use hook, which happens before a tool actually is used. And what happens here? Well, a few things which I can think of. And first off, of course, if the model is, for instance, saying, okay, we should use this tool up there with certain kinds of input parameters. So far, so good. But of course, you all know that models can hallucinate. Or there could be actually something wrong in the response. Meaning, for instance, it could say, I want to use tool ABC, but tool ABC doesn't exist. So here it is checked whether the tool, basically, from the past response is actually available, and also are the input parameters correct, if there are some, if they're required, right? These could be things which are actually checked here in the pre-tool use hook, because I cannot use a tool which doesn't exist, right? Or if the input parameters are wrong. So it goes there. There are also a few additional things which are checked, certainly, but this is just a few things I can think of. And then, of course, if it is, for instance, the tool doesn't exist, it is blocked, right? Or if the input parameters are not delivered by the model, it is also blocked. Then, of course, if everything is complete, it is allowed up here already, then it goes to pass, and then the tool is executed. For instance, the harness is then executing the bash command on your system, right? And then, of course, after the tool execution, then there's also a post-tool use hook. Again, a hook which always happens deterministically after a tool is executed. And of course, you can also probably add something here if you want to extend the Claude harness, which should happen after a tool is executed. For instance, you want to get an information message or whatever, right? So then either it's an error or the tools are executed, then of course you get this. So the tool result is then appended to the whole, in this case, the context itself, it happens up there, but right now it's appended here simply to a kind of message block, so to speak. And then it's checking that whether the context is already near limit. If so, you probably know that there is this compaction, or you do it manually yourself, you can also do that, but in a loop itself, it always checks, is the context near limit? So do we have reached this, depending on what model you use, 1 million token limit, right? Or not. And then if that's the case, then we have this auto compact, which is happening. Otherwise, it goes directly up there. If no, it goes best to the context assembly. And this is basically the loop which happens. So again, we have all the additional things here, like, what kind of tools exist. We have the system message, we have the Claude MD file, and then of course now we have the iteration of this specific, single loop iteration result, the tool execution result, and so on. It also goes back into context assembly. So this context assembly goes bigger and bigger, so to speak, right, with each iteration. And then the same thing happens again. Again, the data with the results of the tools is now sent again to the post message API. And this is important because the messages here, this API, this is stateless, meaning if you would not add this additional context from the first iteration here and the tool results, so to speak, to the messages again, then the model would not know anything, because the model doesn't know what happened before. It is always basically a blank state, so to speak. Only because we added the context, we basically blew up the context, so to speak. We sent this then to the message API, and again, we get a response from the model. But one more time, the model itself is not executing anything. It's just sending an intent. Okay, based on this information, we should do this next. And the harness, so this whole thing around it, this basically then checks everything with the user permission modes, whether the tool exists, and so on, and is executing the result, is then adding it to our whole context, and then it's back sent to the messages, and the model then can decide what to do next. And that's basically the Claude Code harness with the model itself as, so to speak, the intent deliverer, but the harness itself is then doing all the permissions and checking, and also the execution itself on your system. So this is how Claude Code actually works under the hood from my understanding. As I said, I don't claim this is fully complete, but hopefully that is also helpful to you, especially if you have not, so far thought about how Claude actually works and you were maybe curious like myself how that whole thing actually works. Because I mean, let's face it, it's really understandable if I send a message to an API or a post request and I get a result. So far so good. But how is actually an agent like Claude Code actually working? That was the question, and hopefully this shed some light into the dark. So if you enjoyed the video, then please give it a thumbs up and share it. Also subscribe to the channel, it helps a lot. And take care. Goodbye and see you in the next video. Until then, best guys.